the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you. Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode number 50. In this episode, we feature Jeff Giagnocavo, living a big ticket life. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. Really happy to be here, Pete. Be on your show. I like how we do this together.
Yes. This is going to be fun. So let me pay the bills first.
All right.
If you haven't gotten my book and you sell mattresses or furniture, you are messing up. 101 tips for mattress store owners to sell another $1 million or more this year. It's not a sales book. It's a marketing book. Get it now if you haven't. And here's something for you. If there is something you want to implement in my book and you have no idea of how to implement it, call me. My phone number is 419-560-3169. Make an appointment and we will spend a half an hour free consultation worth $1 billion because I don't do this except for my dealers. Anyway, one other bill to pay. If you haven't joined the Mattress Network, the Mattress Industry Network group, you have to. My good friend, Jeff Giagnocavo, who is with us today, will testify that he told me no less than 50 times, Pete, you've got to join this group. It's a great
story.
Finally, he got so angry at me and frustrated with me. He goes, what gives? And I said, Jeff, I don't want to belong to that group because it's that guy. That guy owns that group. I don't want anything to do with that guy. He goes, what guy? I tell him the guy's name. He goes, he doesn't own that group. So
different group entirely.
Guys, whatever you're doing, if you sell mattresses, you owe it to yourself to join the Mattress Industry Network group. It's free. It's on Facebook. There's over 1,000 members. It's the only group that is for retailers by retailers. Retailers own it. Steve, thank you for your support. Hey, thank you, Chris Stone, for that festive edition of lights there. I appreciate that. So let's get into the show. Jeff, you bailed me out today. Poor Karen, she was feeling sick, but I'm going to tell you a funny story. When I saw what you were promoting, I said, I wish we would have scheduled that for our show because I think this is something all of our retailers should be involved with. But before we get going too far onto that, you know, when I think of people in our industry who are successful and who are smart and who look outside the industry to find new inspiration, you're the first person that comes into my mind every time. I'll never forget the first time that we met. We met at a marketing super conference down in Florida years ago at a Dan Kennedy event. And I'll never forget, I wanted to talk to you so bad. We had a brief introduction and the thing was over. And I got within about 50 feet of you. And I saw how you were writing and literally steam was coming off of your head, dude. And like, I know what that feels like because
I was in the moment.
Yeah, it happens to me. And it's like when I'm in that moment, I could literally have 3 or 4 secretaries and I can't even get the words out as fast as I'm thinking them. I couldn't even dictate it as I could never write it as fast either. And so I just kind of sat there for about 5 or 10 minutes. And I said, no, I am, as much as I want to talk to this dude, I am not doing that to him because this is one of those moments that I call flow. I don't know what you call it, but I call it when you're flowing, you're in the moment and magic is happening. And I later found out that you were creating something that was pretty special at that point.
I call it, it's a word that might scare people. I call it scheming. Um,
Depends
really
on where
not.
your heart is, brother. It depends
Yeah,
on where
well,
your
that's
heart
just it.
is.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. It's not meant for ill intent, but it is just, it is a plan. It is set in motion, and it begs attention. It begs focus, and that's what I call it. So yeah, I was in mid scheming when you saw me with, I think you said, steam or smoke coming off the top of my head.
Yeah, that
But
was.
all these years later, here we are.
Yeah, it's been fun. So, full disclosure, I am a big fan of Jeff Giagnocavo, not only his store, but also everything that he does from consultant to coaching. I'm a customer as well, and he's a customer of mine. So,
Yep.
we're pretty much hooked at the hip. So, don't say anything bad about Jeff on my show, or you're in big trouble. Anyway, nobody would ever say such
Well,
a thing.
and that's the thing a lot of folks don't know about me, because until recently, I've not made it a point to share it. But I've been coaching and consulting with business owners really for 7 years, since November of 2014. Formally launched Infotail Systems Inc., which is my corporate coaching partnership company that I'm a part of. And that business has been delivering results, delivering benefit, changing the lives of business owners that I've been involved with. Some months more than others, the number of people I work with, but that's all right. Those things ebb and flow. But I've been doing that, every month, helping people out since November of 2014. So really seven full years now. And with that, 7 full years of revenue coming in as well. And so I've been at this for a while. So the Big Ticket Life really is a manifestation of that 7 years of work, seeing a lot of really great business, helping it to go to incredible, and helping good businesses go to great. And I'm proud to say it. I feel I have a gift for helping people see what might be right in front of them that they're not able to see, helping them put in a handful of different, what I call big ticket methods into their business to just break those chains of what traditional brick and mortar face-to-face type store ownership typically is expected to be, what they think they need to be, and where they've been pigeonholed into. And I've been able to help a lot of people kind of shatter those walls around them and get to a new level. And I say the Big Ticket Life is about doing life and business on your terms. If the business isn't serving you specifically first, it's worthless to everything else thereafter, whether that's your spouse, your marriage, your relationships with your children, your relationships with your employees, your relationship with your community. If your business isn't serving you, you're not able to serve any of those other relationships. And so I kind of arrived at the Big Ticket Life by that realization that it's time to help other business owners reach that level of what I like to call investor in their business, where they actually, their business works for them and they're able to work on their business every moment that they dedicate to it.
That's awesome, Jeff. Two things on that, both from Dan Kennedy. I'm a fan of Jeff too. You better be Ben McClure. You're his business partner.
We're stacking the comment deck here.
Yeah. Ben, good morning. Thank you for making a comment. We appreciate you being here. Two things that jump out at me from your comments that I think would be helpful to any of our store owners or business owners that are joining us. Number one, if you ever find yourself complaining about your employees, stop. You hired them, you trained them, you tolerated their bad behavior, you didn't give them consistent feedback, and now you need to do what Jeff just said. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, and if you don't know where to start changing, give Jeff a call a little bit later, after the show preferably. But if you have a question right now, jump in, ask us. The other thing is when I hear business owners complaining about their customers, and I at times have been guilty of this, the same thing holds true. They're your customers. You attracted them into your store with your advertising. You tolerated their bad behavior, and you need to change who you are fundamentally. Looking in the mirror is a great place to start. If you don't like your employees, or you don't like your customers, or you don't like their behavior, you have to start with yourself. And why am I tolerating this behavior? Is this a common problem, Jeff, or do you think it just maybe one out of a
Well,
hundred?
no, I mean, it really is. I think it's a common problem that exists. It creeps in very easily, even to well-run businesses. It creeps in. You know, we're in a refocus and slight edge stream of consciousness here and effort here in our business right now. This year has been wildly successful. And with that success comes growing pains. And with those growing pains come habits. And sometimes those habits are really good. And sometimes those habits need improvement. And, so it happens in all businesses. I did a post last night from my home studio about it is what it is, which is a statement of complacency. It's really a statement of defeat when you hear people say, well, it is what it is. What are you going to do? All employees work this way. What are you going to do? All vendors act this way. What are you going to do? All customers act this way. And, that is what it is statement really is one of defeat. It's one of acceptance and apathy. And I think I think it's led and born from, really, if we get deep down, and I said in our, what do we formally call it? Backstage pre-show talk.
Yeah.
I think that's what we call it.
Yeah.
I said, I think I want to take a little bit of a turn from the norm and talk about some mindset stuff. And I think when we as business owners become apathetic, become accepting of this stuff, it's really, it is a look in the mirror moment. Really what it is I think it's baggage from your past, whatever that might be. And I'm not your doctor. we're not dispensing psychiatric medical advice here. But I truly believe that when people reach that place of apathy, when they reach that place of acceptance, what ends up happening in their mind subconsciously, and it comes out consciously, is they're saying, I'm afraid to push harder because on the other side of that might be fear, pain, rejection, consternation, arguments, strife. And those feelings suck because I've had those feelings in the past. And again, that might be around intense trauma, intense pain, family relationships, friend relationships. It might be addictions, you name it, any number of things.
Right.
And business owners, I think, we live a lonely life in most cases because we're a different breed than maybe some of our friends are who punch a clock and get a salary and have, perks and benefits and retirement accounts. We choose to carve our own path, but sometimes carving that path means you take some shrapnel. It means you take some arrows, so to say. You get some war wounds, and it's how you deal with that stuff that really counts. So that's kind of where I thought we'd start, Pete. What do you? I mean, any? I'm kind of interviewing you now. Any thoughts there? Where do you want to take it?
Well, no. I think everything starts at mindset. Here's Jackie. Let's see. Excellent point, Pete. Asking yourself why you are tolerating bad behavior versus complaining about customer or employees. Thanks, Jackie. Those are just, listen, I've been guilty of it. I've had my dealers, talk to me about these things too on a pretty regular basis. And so it's something that I wanted to bring up. So thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, Jackie's amazing. She's really very interesting because, her business revolves around working with executives and, here and there success stories and probably a few failure stories too, that she really gets some inside scoop that's quite interesting. But getting back to mindset, there is nothing more fundamental when I look at the last 2 years, Jeff, and I look at, who did good, who went out of business, and who is struggling now, I can almost always go back to mindset. So, with that, let's start with, what do you think is the most fundamental mistake that store owners make? And by the way, for my reps that are tuning in, before Jeff was Jeff was a store owner, he was one of the best reps in the industry. So anything that Jeff has to say, I would listen to. If I'm a rep, I would be taking notes, because let me tell you something. I have begged Jeff to coach me. I will pay this money. I will pay this man money to coach me. And I have 40 years of experience. But the reason I would pay him is because of his perspective. He's done my job, and he knows intimately how I do my job. And he knows exactly where I screw up and where I don't, and where I'm strong and where I'm weak. And guess what? Another set of eyes, another set of ears is invaluable to you. I think I said it on my last show. It's a lonely life to be a store owner, to be a business owner. You have nobody. Who do you talk to? You talk to your friends that don't own stores. They have not a clue of what you're talking about. Jackie, yes, Jeff, we business owners get lots of shrapnel and war wounds, but as you suggest, well worth it. I agree with your thoughts on how we respond to those battles is key. Yep. Awesome, Jackie. Thank you so much. Where was I, Jeff? Catch me.
Talking about my prior representation days and perspective of having an alternate set of eyes and ears and focus on your business.
Yeah. So when you're a business owner, your employees do not want to correct you, even if you invite them to. They're just 90% of the time not going to do it. There are a few exceptions to the rule, but most of the time they won't do it. So you are left in a very difficult position. And what Jeff has been able to do is get business owners together and do roundtables and do masterminds and talk about the challenges that we have and share openly what's going on. Like right now, not stuff that, fluff stuff in furniture today. Like, how do you deal with what we're going through right now? I mean, business for most dealers has been great up to recently. It's tailed off, but there's severe supply issues, very severe. And unless you are really nimble, you will get caught in a death spiral with that. And so let's start off with, the mindset. What are the most common mistakes that store owners make with their mindset?
Yeah. Well, I touched on it briefly. I mean, I think if I'll take a step back and then go right at the question.
Sure.
Whatever your issues of the past were, whatever leads you to a point where you lash out, where you find yourself complaining, you find yourself not being proactive, you find yourself struggling to properly lead. I think it's really kind of addressing, here's what's caused me pain and strife and heartache in the past, and how do I deal with it going forward? And, if we look at, Pete, you touched on people being successful in the last 2 years, which, really is, everybody kind of dances around the subject. It's been almost 2 years now, the kickoff of the COVID pandemic. I have lived a life from a very young age in chaos. A lot of chaos around personal life, family relationships, you name it. I mean, there could be multiple movies written about my life and my family. And I've lived that life of chaos. So for me, COVID was actually really, really comfortable. I knew the answer. We weren't going to stop working. And, so if you're listening to this, you're a business owner, you've got some of this stuff that and I'm telling you, everybody's got some degree of it. You may not need to be a lifetime movie trauma case or a lifetime movie stress case, but everybody's got something, and it frames the way they react. And I've been thinking a lot about this analogy to express this. And I think A long time ago, somebody told me that, you can never forget, and it can be hard to forgive, but the goal is never use it against somebody again. Whatever that is, right? So never forget, hard to forgive, but most importantly, never use it against that person again. And I come away with that as of recent introspection, thinking about this stuff as baggage, right? So you can choose to hang this stuff around your place, around your neck, carry it like that old school. Remember that old school Samsonite case? Maybe your parents had, Pete. It was leather. It had a metal frame, one big handle, no wheels. Maybe it had a little leather strap, but that long broke off. Heavy. You packed it full, right?
Yeah.
So you can choose to carry your baggage around in something like that, hang it around your neck, and it's going to drag you down. You could choose to say, you know what, this stuff exists, but I'm gonna deal with it in an easier way with a more modern carry-on bag, right? 2 wheels and extendo handle. Makes it a little easier to carry around, still got to lug it. Or you could go high tech, right? With the new swivel case with 4 wheels that are multi-directional, ergonomic handle, many different pockets, all the doodads to make it easier. And it's your choice. One of those 3 ways you can deal with whatever, kind of derails your mind, makes you an ineffective leader. You have to think about that and put it in one of those three bags. It's always going to be there, right? That's why I use the analogy, right? Because suitcases are a tangible item, unless you throw it away. But that goes back to my statement of you can't forget, right? So it's how you move forward. So you can have this thing strapped around you where it's nearly impossible. You can have it be a little easier, or you can just choose to say, you know what? Whatever gets me down, whatever makes me lash out, whatever ruins my day, whatever derails my day, I'm going to manage it in the best way possible. I'm going to look for new ways, to new inputs, new inspirations to not gloss over, but to help me manage in my day. And I think that's very important as leaders to understand that when we face issues in our business today, it's not like that stuff of the past. It may feel that way, right? That's why I said, like, when COVID happened, I thrive in chaos. Absolutely thrive in chaos. It can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But that's what I've learned over the years. And when you learn to deal with whatever gets you down, whatever that pain is in the past, understand no employee is looking to cut you like that. No vendors looking to do the same. It's just they've got their agenda, which isn't as harmful as anything you've experienced. That's for sure, right? It's not any of that stuff. It's just they want to get about their day. And sometimes that doesn't always gel with your day. And that's all right. But those feelings don't need to come in and manifest to this big overarching thing that just derails you. Pack it away in the appropriate suitcase. Maybe some things are heavier. But most things I think you're going to find are really very easily manageable. And there's a little pocket. There's a little place for it. You put it in there and it's very easy to move and work around and take with you in the day.
That reminds me of the word no. And it's something that a business owner has to get very comfortable with. Saying no to all the unscheduled distractions that come a business owner's way.
Yep.
Can you talk about that? Because you are a business owner and you've learned how to say no. And when I think about productive people, you are definitely in my top 3 of most productive people I know. And I know some pretty high achieving people. So what you would have to say about that is important, because I really think it's the first secret to getting closer to being more productive and having a better mindset. And, the ability to say no is a mindset issue, because like we were all taught to try to say yes and to try to accommodate. But the reality is, if you approach your business that way and you don't say no, you're just gonna be like a ping pong being
You're rudderless. There's no boundaries on your
yeah,
time.
right.
There's no boundaries on what you'll tolerate. There's no boundaries on, what is or isn't a good customer, what is or isn't a good employee and teammate. There's probably even no boundaries on your relationships. We're not going to go backwards into mindset stuff, but yeah, I mean, if you're not able to say no, and no isn't a bad thing. No is just, listen, I said the big ticket life is about you doing life and business on your terms. So the business serves you, which then immediately falls down into your personal relationships, your business relationships. So if you're just rudderless, if you're incapable to control your time, momentum, and energy, then there's no way you're maximizing the benefit you can give to those around you and really to this world. There's no way. Can't do it. Like as a very tactical example, Pete, I source Amish made foundations. Most, if you're not in the industry, you would know it as a box spring. So the plan has been up until recently for me to drive out. It's a whole day in a rented box truck and get them. And it keeps us nimble with our inventory needs. It gets us what we need and the time we need it. And it works. But a lot of things have changed. You can't get those kinds of rental trucks anymore because there's so many issues in trucking that what I've come to learn is companies can't get 53-foot tractor trailer CDL drivers, but they can get a better abundance of non-CDL box truck drivers. So now you've got more box trucks taking up the freight that was on tractor trailers. They're just splitting it into two loads. Well, you can't get 26-foot box trucks to rent readily anymore. So my cost to go do this went through the roof, where the day in the truck just doesn't make sense. Even though I make it productive, I kind of stack some books, I stack some podcasts to listen to, put some big questions on my mind to think about the night before so I get the answers on the way. And that's actually the way it works. So you have to give yourself time to let your mind work that way. Maybe Pete will touch back on that because I said it pretty fast. But, being adaptable and understanding that, okay, I have to say no because my cost to run it the way I did went from about $300 to $700. It just doesn't make sense anymore. So now I have to say no to that and say yes to a different way to manage it. So now we're just going to bring in a tractor trailer load, and we had to adopt our policy and the procedure and the way we stock things a little bit to take in 200 pieces of foundations at a time. But that's okay. We'll manage. But it was that boundary on, no, this no longer works, as opposed to just saying, you know what, I'm going to put my head down and do the hard work. It's those kinds of boundaries and those kinds of abilities that need to happen in everybody's business.
Yeah. And listen, the input changed and you responded and you responded in a nimble way. And you made it so that, and I think this would be a loss if we didn't say this. The way that Jeff buys his Amish foundations, number one, this product is superior to any product in the marketplace. And as a value for his customer, it is second to none. So part of this goes back to the origin of Jeff's why and to serve his customers better than any other retailer, right? And so solving that problem became very important because your salespeople and your customers have come to expect these awesome foundations that are heavier duty, give more support, and come in at a great value, superior value to anything else in the marketplace. So I do want to pick up on this, letting an idea marinate. And, so I often hear this from dealers, my dealers and prospective dealers and just friends in the industry. I'm going 110 miles an hour. I can't go any faster. And that's where we start to say, okay, you've got to start saying no to some things and you got to start to prioritize. Now, if you have something important, an important decision takes time, and we should never be unrealistic about that and say, well, we're just going to make it fast. That's a mistake. Taking your time and letting a thought marinate is huge. And
Yep.
you have to structure that time. You have to communicate uh, with your employees and let them know. Dan Cricks, who I've been in a mastermind with, when he owned um, his automobile repair shop, his employees were taught that if his door is shut, don't even knock on it, because he is creating space and time to work on his business. And however you do that, I love the idea of getting some thoughts together the night before and starting to let your subconscious work on it, and then work on it purposely while you have some time alone in that truck. It's about what, 2 hour drive, 2.5 hour drive?
Almost 4.
Almost 4. Okay. So that's
Yeah,
8 hours.
it's a 500-mile day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, I used to say, hey, okay, not the best use of my time. However, because I put a process into place around it to maximize that windshield time, learn, get new inputs into positive inputs into the brain, it makes sense. But the reality is, so much of my week is about that kind of time now as it is. I don't want to sound like I don't need it, but it just changed. And it's changed, and that's a good thing. It's fine. It means we're growing. So that's right, Jonna. Jonna's one of my fans, Pete.
Yes.
Jonna's awesome.
I can tell she's awesome. Totally underscores the importance of the mastermind and sounding board. Yeah, I'm a big fan of mastermind. Some of the best ideas, I can tell you, all the best ideas that I've ever come up with were not my ideas. Yep. They were born in a mastermind, whether it was a 10 or 13 person mastermind or a 2-person mastermind. They were born in masterminds. So thank you.
And what you don't know about Jonna, Pete, is so Jonna had a former life before the financial advisory life that she runs now. She's an Edward Jones financial consultant, and she did the work and pounded the pavement, pressed the flesh, kissed the babies, shook the hands, and did everything that Edward Jones said. If you do, you'll see success. And she did it all. And she's got her own office that Edward Jones invested in one of the best places in Lancaster County to have it in. And I'm immensely proud of what I saw her accomplish. It's very, very cool.
Congratulations.
Very cool. Yep. A lot of people look for that magic thing, and the magic thing is just doing the damn work. That's just what it comes down to. You touched on something, Pete, about being open-minded. So I'm going to get, again, I told you we're going a little different on this one, right? I've never been much for the as I would call it, woo-woo mindset stuff. I've uttered that phrase many, many, many times. And I think I said it because I was always willing to just put the head down and do the work. But I've come to learn there's a little more efficient way to do things in life. And a mindset like that's good, but it's not good for you. It wasn't good for me because it takes an immense mental, physical toll, right? So the reason that I'm kind of resurrecting, being more vocal, putting together a renewed focus on the coaching and consulting that I do offer, and why I'm calling it the Big Ticket Life. You have to listen. You have to carve out time in your day, in your week, to listen, to take these inputs in. So I'm a member of a number of different other coaching groups, and my monthly spend is significant for these groups. One of the groups offers something called Memos from the Head Office. All right. And Memos from the Head Office is we're going off here. It's a little out in left field here. Memos from the head office is basically where you have two empaths on the phone, on the Zoom link. The only information they have is your first name. That is it. And they are clued into the universe. Now, whatever's in your universe, whoever you believe is at the head of your universe, that's up to you. All right. I have a belief that Father God is the head of my universe, as does the empaths leading this group. Conversationally, my grandfather, he would never admit it because he would view it as blasphemy. But he has empathic abilities. He's shared numerous stories. He felt it was just the spirit working in his life as he read and was taught to believe as a child, but he definitely has these skills. At any rate, I get this recent memo. Now, the memo was recorded, and I got the recording. The memo was recorded back in August. Okay. So very busy summer, a lot of personal projects that had my mind focused on these personal endeavors, unrelated to business. That memo sat in my inbox as a reminder. You know, they send an email out, hey, your memo was read this day, this time. And again, all they know is name. That's it. And I go and play this memo about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I listen to it and it hits me like a hammer between the eyes. And it was about there's things in your rear view that if you just hit the gas pedal, you're going to see great success and they're going to go away. And all you need to do is manage how fast you make that rear view picture move away. And that's what got me thinking about my baggage analogy with what I shared earlier with how leaders lead. And it just drives home the point that if you don't make time to listen, you're going to miss things. So had I listened to that memo back in August, where might we be today? Right? That's the lesson. You've got to carve out this time to listen, and you don't have to go all out in left field like I just took us. And for some people, that is out in left field. I actually don't believe it's that far out there. I think it's actually right in front of most people in different ways for everybody. But you have to carve out this time to think about what you want in life and what you want in business and how you want your business to lead your life. Because if it's not happening, you're doing everyone around you a tremendous disservice. And this is the next thing I'd bring up is this is the Chivo Effect. And Chivo is out of the Chief Everything Officer. See, a lot of people walk around, you know, they got their chest puffed out. I'm the CEO of this thing. Yeah, you're a Chief Everything Officer, a Chivo. You can't say no.
Don't be a Chief Everything Officer.
Right. You don't say no. That's right, Stu. The best meat has always been marinated. That's right. It takes time. I'm actually playing around this week with a 30-hour crock pot simmer of pork shoulder. My sister did it and it was amazing. So I'm going to try it at any rate. But yeah, you have to be open. You have to carve this time out to think, to be present in what you're like. A great friend of mine I've made recently. We've quickly become friends. This guy is living the big ticket life, and I'm hoping he's going to join me for my first official Big Ticket Life podcast episode. And when I say this guy's living the big ticket life, this guy's doing it. He owns one of the top real estate brokerages in the South. He owns thousands upon thousands of acres of hunting land, does guiding hunted tours, and grew an outdoor clothing company, sold it, and it was valued in the billions.
Wow.
Okay. This guy's living the big ticket life. And this guy takes an abundance of time to think, to plan, to scheme. And if you're not doing that, you absolutely have to. This can be accomplished by,
let's see what Jackie's got. Jackie, I love the conversation around how not to be rudderless, to manage your time and energy in order to provide more value to those you serve. That aligns well with my word of 2021, capacity. Yes.
Yep. Very good.
Yep. Yes to letting thoughts marinate, particularly around important decisions and plans, projects, etc. Work on thoughts purposefully. Yes. The magic is doing the damn work. Amen and yes.
Yeah. There's no magic button.
No.
You know, there's not even a easy button, as Staples would have told us. It's a bunch of crap. At any rate, so carving out this time is just, it's so very important. This could mean, like, right now, I guarantee you, you have this time. You're listening to this. Your reaction is you're probably on Facebook now listening to it. Maybe you've worked out where you can still keep scrolling Facebook. Stop. Just be in the moment and listen here. Not because I think I'm so great or I think Pete's so great, but we are giving positive information. It's not
But
the rest of the trash.
just so you know,
find.
he does think Pete is great. So just so that you know that.
Yeah, I had to say, I kind of had to say that. But anyway, you could choose later in your afternoon to not spend the 20 minutes you're going to spend on social media and go read a book that's sitting on your shelf that the spine still is fresh for 3 years. Because everybody's got that. I've got that. I buy books all the time that I don't get to. It's okay. I read a lot of books, but I buy more books than I actually read.
We all do. Get
up a half hour earlier, and use this time for yourself. Jackie, I love your word capacity. I said I've excelled in chaos. When the pandemic hit, one of the first things I did, I realized it right away. This is going to be a fight. This is a dog fight.
Yeah.
Somebody just came here, took my food bowl, kicked it over, and said, maybe you're going to eat, maybe not. I completely redid my office, moved things around, and I made it like I'm in the fight for my life. I lined up some of the best resources I have, put them front and center for inspiration, motivation, and we kept doing the work. And I believe the work that Ben and I did in that time is what led to our success the last half of 20 and through this year today. I mean, this year today, we've already got, we've had the day in since 11/11. We were open for 51 or 71 minutes. So we met budget in the first 71 minutes of the day, which is fantastic.
Nice.
Right? So when you do the work and you allow yourself time and you create that space, you kind of go back to what you said about your friend Dan. Like, if the door's shut, don't bother me. And this isn't, all of this talk isn't about, being that leader that's, at hand's length from your team. It's about leading your team so you can best lead them, right, and doing things for them to where their day can be impactful for your customers. Like, I've reached the point where customers reach out to us, they reach out to me through networking events I might go to. I'm like, well, when are you in the store? They say, well, I'm only in the store 2 days a week. And actually my goal for 22 is 1 day a week. And that might really only be because I do this podcast right here at this seat for my show, Lancaster Connects, for the store. But I could just as easily do that from home. Maybe that'll happen. And I'm not going to be an absentee owner, but I am an owner that's focused on our customer experience. That's the only thing I'm focused on anymore, is a 5-star experience. And we've been flushing out things that have been impeding that. Our customers haven't seen it, but they might if we don't focus on it. My team is better at helping our customers wake up happy than I am, because that's their sole focus. That's all they do anymore. And I tell people I meet at networking events, like, if you want to work with me, that's fine, but I actually don't think you're going to get the best experience working with me. I think you're going to get the better experience working with my team, because this is all they do. And they're great at it.
Yeah.
All these 5-star reviews that you're seeing recently on Google, Facebook, all the handwritten ones we show off in our fan books right here. These are all handwritten, unique handwritten testimonials that customers mail back to us that we've since scanned and put into these fan books. These aren't mine. These are my team's. Okay. So if you want the best experience, to work with them. My gift, my talents, my focus goes to making sure that happens for you.
Let me just clean something up. What he just showed you was a handwritten review. So those are handwritten reviews from real customers with real names. That is in that book.
Yep. So Chris, if you want, you can put gardnersmattressandmore.com/reviews into the screen there or wherever it goes, and people can go. You can see them all there online at that site as PDFs, gardnersmattressandmore.com/reviews. We're very proud of that. And I'm proud of it because the words people share, but a close second is people are taking the time to
there you go.
Save that letter. We save the blank sheet we give them on delivery, come back to it, write it out, put a stamp on it, and mail it back. And I think that's special.
If there's anybody here that owns a business and you want to get 5-star online reviews and you want to systemize it with a process, Jeff, I don't know the best way that you want people to contact you, but reach out to Jeff, and however he wants you to contact him. He does this better than anybody I've ever seen. And it's something that is so important in today's new world. So the reason I was kind of smiling like the cat that ate the canary was because my chapter that I'm going to read today is on page 35, and it's chapter 21. It's called Coach Team Members. There's a saying, inspect what you expect. And as business owners, we must stay on top of what employees and team members are doing. I wish it was different, but it isn't. You could implement every strategy in this book and still fail if your team is not on board and doing the things the way you need them done, especially if they have direct contact with prospects and customers. I have seen this happen more times than I like to remember, where a store owner has done everything right and an employee undermines the entire system with the wrong attitude, behavior, or knowledge. It can kill a business. Don't let it happen to you. The best way to ensure that your team has the same vision and follow through is to make them part of the marketing process and reward them for going the extra steps. Hold frequent marketing strategy meetings where everybody has input. Get team members buy-in and agreement with new marketing initiatives and systems. Help them realize their success is directly related to your customer's success. As the owner, it's ultimately up to you to make sure employees and team members are doing the job you expect them to be doing. Stay on top of this all the time and see the difference it can make in your business. You might need to be patient with some of your employees at the beginning. Once they see and feel your commitment, they will come on board. If they don't, after a reasonable amount of time and consistent feedback, they might no longer be a fit for your company. Please do not arbitrarily fire people in my name. Only after they don't respond to feedback over time do I suggest the F word. What say you, Jeff? It's like you could have written that.
Yeah. Well, it brings up, I'll tell the story about my pallet trailer. But before I go into that story, I mean, it really comes down to how you lead your team as a leader. You set the expectation, but have you communicated why the expectation is so important? Why that expectation keeps the machine moving. What part does it play? Like I love the question, what's the most important part of a car? No one can answer that question, right? Because every single part is important.
Yeah.
And I, the handful of times I've gone at length debating it, the answer that almost always seems to go down is, what's the driver? Well, that's true, but a driven person doesn't necessarily need a car to go where they want to go. They could buy a plane, they could buy a boat, they could get a train ticket, they could ride the bus, right? So how you lead your team and the expectations you communicate and why it's so important is what's paramount. And do you put in things into your process, into your procedure, into the system to where it is repeatable, dependable, where that subjectivity is removed and becomes objectivity. So as an example, the pallet trailer. So every business in our industry gets pallets into their place of business and they have to be disposed of. And we used to drag them across the parking lot. And Pete's been to our store. From our dock to where we stored them back behind our storage trailers is not exactly a short distance. I would say it's 150 yards. Pallets are heavy, so it's a two-person job. They get stacked up. They become an eyesore. The landlord management company doesn't like it. We get some kids making BMX and skateboard ramps out of them. So now we are open to litigation and liability, right? It just doesn't work. So I ended up buying a little landscape trailer and completely invested in our team by doing that, because now all that laborious pick thing up, put thing down type of work that I think employees can look at and be like, this is how I'm viewed. I'm just the guy that schleps pallets around.
Right.
Well, no, you're not just that person, but that can certainly be how people feel.
Yeah.
Right. And remember that baggage conversation, it just kind of manifests into this big old Samsonite around the neck. So now the procedure is the pallet trailer is right there at the dock. The pallets, in a perfect world, daily, they get thrown on the trailer. When I pull in to park, I can see how full it is. I can plan the next handful of days or the next week. And then I just drive it across town, hook it up to my truck. It takes me an hour. I have relieved 6 hours of grunt work off the backs of my team. So my time is valuable, but paying 2 guys for 6 hours of work, okay, that makes sense for 1 hour of my time. And again, I use that time valuably. I'll throw a good podcast on. I'll put a big question in my mind the night before. So it's not just aimless, mindless travel, but it's communicating why all of that was so important, what it was doing for our team, and everybody gets it. And it becomes this little mini system that just works. It's dependable. It's repeatable. And that's an example of that, of what you're talking about, where you lead your team the right way.
Yeah. Well, and here's the,
I like them too, Jackie. I like the handwritten reviews,
Jackie, too. I have never seen anything like this. The first time I saw Jeff's store, I saw this like almost a phone book full of reviews,
and not a 2021 phone book. Wait a minute, it like a 1992 thick phone book.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, not a little itty bitty one. And then the next year I came back and he had 2 of them, and I'm like, my Lord, this is amazing. But
And
you know what
what
I loved about your example, Jeff, that you had the thoughtfulness to look at it from your employees' eyes and to think about their capacity, right? I'm asking them to do this, and this, and now I'm going to prioritize it for them, right? Because you are the leader, so you need to make the priority. And you decided that getting those 5-star online reviews is a heck of a lot more important than schlepping this thing around. I'll make their life easier so that they can focus on those 5-star online reviews. And so listen, Jeff, we're running out of time. This always happens to us. Tell me what you're up to. Stop teasing me. I need to know what this big ticket life is all about. What are you up to, dude? Or when do I tune in next? Talk to me.
Yep. So, I mean, the big ticket life really is about a mantra, a lifestyle. Again, business and life on your terms. If your business is not working for you, you're falling victim to the Chivo effect, the chief everything officer effect, not the CEO. You do need to shift into that investor status in your own business. Treat your business like a board of investors would, as yourself. Okay. what would an investor do in the business? What do they see in the business that's redeemable and quality to invest in? And those are the actions you need to be taking in your own business. That's what the big ticket life is about. Jackie said she just loved the handwritten reviews. I love them too. I'm immensely proud every time they come in. Today in the mail, we got another one. And we do have 3-inch thick 3-ring binders of these things now. So what you're seeing online is about a third of all that we have. And again, this is one of those things that I feel is my gift, and it's time to share it. It's time to put this nonsense in the past, that rearview mirror memo from the head office, hit the accelerator. So next week, I'm hosting a little 3-day event where you get 3 sessions of thoughtfulness, mindfulness on these topics. And Jackie referenced the handwritten reviews. Well, the title of this event is how to win on Main Street in an Amazon world. So how in the world do we as business owners, especially in the furniture and mattress industry, succeed when everything's being Amazoned? Invisalign dental work is being sold on Amazon today. I'm not so sure that insurance is, but boy, everywhere you look, insurance is sold online, except in through an insurance agent's office with a shingle out front on Main Street, right? So there's many types of businesses that can be served by the things that I'm going to be sharing. But if you're that face-to-face type business selling toes to toes, affecting business through a front door, over my shoulder, that way, just like me, right? How to win on Main Street in an Amazon world, 3-day sessions, 3 sessions, 1 hour each day next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 14th through the 16th. Going to kick it off at noon. And we're going to go a deep dive into big ticket methodology, how you make getting those handwritten reviews like that happen. How do you put growth assets into your business, like being an authority? How do you create these fan books? And most importantly, I'll end with this. I had Drew bring this over because this is something else I'm immensely proud of. On Black Friday, right? The holy grail of all retail holidays, where everybody kind of works all year to find the great door busting promotions that generate traffic and go into the black. The kind of ad that we ran was this right here. The secrets of 5-star business success. And we chose to highlight our partners. We chose to highlight family-owned vendors to tell the family-owned story in a family-owned business on Small Business Saturday. All right. So I said Black Friday. This is Black Friday weekend advertising. We always roll out on Small Business Saturday. You see the bottom of the ad. This bottom part is our template, our 4 reasons why ad. This is on the windows over my shoulder back there. This is our ad that we run. There's not a picture of our mattress and there's not even a price. It's all how we're going to help you find your next and favorite mattress. And that's how we advertise. So if you're a business, and you don't just have to be a furniture or mattress business, if you've got competition, that's price competition, service competition, you're looking to break the status quo, you're tired of the way your industry does things, and you want some insight into how to do things amazingly well and succeed on Main Street in an Amazon world, that's what next week is all about.
Did I read that right? Is it free?
Free event.
And is it an hour every day starting at noon?
Noon to 1. Yep. If we get some questions, we might roll a few minutes late, but yeah, noon to 1. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, 14th, 15th, and 16th.
And how do they sign up for that?
You can, right there on the screen, you can check out my Facebook /Jeff Giagnocavo, or you can go to thebigticketlife.com. My website is up, and tomorrow I'll be updating that to tell you where and when you'll be able to see it. Going to roll it out on my Facebook page. We'll be hosting it there. It'll be on my YouTube channel for the Big Ticket Life. So you're going to see, you're going to pull back the curtain on how to, as I say on the site, how to squish proof your business and, win on Main Street in an Amazon world.
That's great. Jeff, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to what you present to us in the next week. It's next week. Yep. My Lord.
It's next week.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wednesday, Thursday. Yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, be there, be squared. Guys, it's free. There's no reason for you not to be there.
Yep.
So sign up, get it. And Jeff, thank you a million. And I look forward to seeing what you're going to teach us.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. And
You're welcome.
Karen, I hope you heal up quickly.
Yes.
I took Karen's spot. She had a personal reason. I hope she feels better soon. And looking forward to seeing you back on the show, Karen, when you can.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay.